Hello guys, this is HPS and today we'll be solving a trial balance. The question is coming from the 2018 internals. The 2018 internals. So the question, here's the question, and the question reads, T Banda is a retailer whose balances are given below on 31st December. So here are the balances. Prepare T Banda's trial balance with the correct heading. So that is the question. So the correct heading of the trial balance is here. T Banda's trial balance as at 31st December 2017. Then the format for the trial balance only requires 3 columns, which is the detail column, debit column, and the credit column. I've already written all what is required, but I'll do the explanation for you guys. So the first one, it is purchases going at 24,000. So before recording, or before I even start, you have to first understand the most important law of the trial balance. This law states that we debit all expenses and assets, and we credit all income and liability. You see, so what is an expense? Expenses occur whenever money is going out of the business. Then what are assets? Assets, these are normally things that belong to the business and are used by the business. For example, motor vehicle, machinery, equipment, such things. Then what is income? Income, it normally occurs when money comes into the business, so when the business receives money. Then liability, these are things that the business owes to others. You see, for example, mortgage, loan, credits. So those are what? Liabilities. So now let's start. So purchases. Purchases, what are purchases? These are normally goods. These are normally goods bought by the business. So when we are buying goods, money is going out of the business, and whenever money is going out of the business, it is an expense. Then we must debit all expenses. So that is where purchases was debited. Then let's go to the sales. So what are sales? Sales, these are normally goods sold to customers by the business. So whenever you are selling goods, or whenever the business sells goods, it receives money, and whenever money is received, that is an income, and according to the law, it says that we must credit all income. We must credit all income. So that is why the sales was credited, guys. Then returns outwards. Returns outwards, normally I do not know where it belongs specifically, but I will advise you to treat it as an income. Why am I saying that you treat returns outwards as an income? Here's the thing, guys. Oh, by the way, returns outwards, these are normally goods that have been returned to suppliers by the business. Example, when you buy goods and you discover that they are of wrong color, you return the goods to the supplier. So those are returns outwards. So why am I saying that you treat it as an income? So when you buy goods from the supplier, you are initially giving out money, or money is going out of the business. But when you return goods to the supplier, you are giving the supplier the goods, while him is returning you, he is returning back your money, is giving you back the money. So which means the business is receiving back its money. So whenever money is coming into the business, it is an income. So treat it as an income. So that is why returns outwards was credited, or that is why it was credited. Then we go to carriage outwards. So carriage outwards, this is normally transport that is used to transport goods out of the business. So since you are using transport, you are spending out money to transport those goods. So it is an expense. That is why it was debited. So we also have carriage inward. Carriage inward is the opposite. It is whenever transport is carriage inward, the business spends money to transport goods into the business. That is carriage in, because goods is coming into the business. When goods are being transported out of the business, it is carriage outwards. So treat carriage in and carriage out the same. They are all debited because they are expenses to the business. Then wages and salaries. These are normally, we are giving out our money to the workers, so which means the business is losing money. It is money is going out of the business, so it is an expense. That is why it was debited. Then sundry expenses, it has been specified. Then petty cash. So cash it is an asset, a current asset. Yeah. So why is it an asset? Because it belongs to the business and it is used by the business. Cash is something that you are having and holding. Yes. Then we go to debtors. What are debtors? So these debtors, these are just guys that they borrowed certain things, maybe goods from the business. They owe the business money. So which means that money belongs to the business. Yeah, so debtors belong to the business. So those are assets of the business. So debtors are assets of the business, just like cash. What about creditors? Creditors, it is when a business, creditors are people whom the business owes money. Yeah, ngongole. Yeah. So at some point, the business has to return the money or has to give back the money to the creditors. So these are what we call liabilities. We have loan, credits, mortgage, yeah, those things. Then we go to motor vehicles. Motor vehicles, at my preamble, I said that it is an asset. Then we go to stock. Stock, it is also an asset because it is stock, all the goods that the business is having at that state. Those are stocks of the business. Yeah, so they belong to the business. Then capital it is a special liability. Why? Because the business owes the owner of the business money. Because whenever a person starts a business, he puts in money, that is capital. So which means the business is owing the owner that capital. At some point, it has to return back the capital to the owner and gives him a profit. Yeah, so it is a special liability. So that is why it was credited, guys. Then drawings, it is also a special expense. Why? Because during this time, money is going to be what? The owner of the business withdraws goods from the business for personal use. For example, you're selling vitumbua, then manje, fritters. For example, you're selling fritters, then you do not have cash to buy food, so you decide to take some of your fritters as your lunch or your breakfast. So that is an expense, which is drawings. That is why it was debited. Summing up, let us add the debit side, which is 24,000 plus 310 plus 9223 plus 1584 plus 1453 plus 26240 plus 4384 plus 1850 plus 1000. So we have 70,044. So we have 70,044. 70,044. Again, add up to the credit side. We have 39800 plus 250 plus 1617 plus 28377. 28377. Again, we have the same. I know it's not that visible, guys. Yeah, but it's 70044. You can also try to adapt. Yes. So yeah, guys, this was for today. Yeah, I was a little bit quick because my phone is running out of space. Yeah. So yeah, this is for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the lesson and hope you have understand where you were lacking. Guys, remember to like and follow, share. Yeah, for this time it's bye guys.